internet, welcome back to my channel. Finally, today I have my 2020 bullet journal setup video. I feel like I'm a little late on the boat with this one. I feel like everyone's released their video already. But the truth is I tried to film this probably about 2-3 weeks ago and then realized that the bullet journal I had picked up for myself wasn't quite optimal. So then I ended up ordering an Archer and Olive journal, which is the one you see here. And I am so much happier with this choice. I vlogged all about this on my Once Upon a December vlogs when I was doing my daily vlogs. So if you want to see that whole process, then you can go over and check that out. Link down below. But anyways, let's just get straight into the setup video. So I feel like with most people, 2020 is just such a fun set of numbers to work with because they're symmetrical. You can do a lot of cool stuff with it. So I'm really looking forward to all the different creative ways to work with it this year. But for my title page, I decided for something a little bit elegant with a modern twist to it, which is kind of the decor I'm going with my home renovations. So I thought this would be very fitting because 2020 is going to be a huge renovation year for me. I like the fact that the 0 and the 2 are a little bit cut off, so it just makes it a little bit more interesting. Okay, so the first page after the title page is going to be my year view. Nothing really special about this particular view, very similar to what I did last year and just writing all 12 months down. So one of the things I wanted to do different for this year's yearly view is really highlight all the days that I'm not physically at work or the days that I don't have to be at work. So things like weekends and public holidays, and I'll probably highlight my annual leave as well in here once I figure out which days I'm going to be taking off for annual leave. But that way, when I look at the full year, it kind of gives me a view as to how many days I have to work on all this other stuff on the side, plus how many days I have to physically be at work. I've always really loved a holistic view of the year and my time. Alright, so like all the previous years, I also wanted to include a future log, but I was getting a little bit tired of the same old layout where it's kind of like a horizontal layout. You do 6 months in a view and then another 6 months. I didn't really change it up that much. I kind of just made them columns instead of horizontal views, but I feel like it's different enough that it kind of looks interesting. Basically what I use this for is marking down major events so I know what's coming up. So I'm setting up January just because I already know what we're doing in January. For example, I'm having some guests over to my new house, which I really haven't had any guests besides Violet and Jimmy come over, and I really wasn't intending to have any guests, but these guys are like some of my best friends, so I feel like it would make the exception for them. But also there's different birthday parties, different birthdays coming up, things like that. Those are like significant events that I really want to make sure I'm prepared for in case I need to do any shopping or I need to do any cooking in advance or stuff like that. So I tend to fill this out at the start of each month just because new events could come up. So I just go on a month-by-month basis. But I won't tend to put in things like if I'm going out to dinner with friends or I have my Japanese classes or anything like that. Those are just very everyday sort of regular things. And I prefer to put those in the monthly view just because I don't really need to prepare for any of those. Over to the other side, I decided to include a new page which I've never had before, and I'm calling this my themes page. One of the issues I had with my bullet journal last year is that I really struggled to find themes for each of the months. I don't know, maybe I'm just not very creative, but it was a real struggle. So this year I thought it'd be really good to summarize all the themes, but it allows me to kind of see them all in one go. So each time I select a theme for a month, I'm going to put it here, and that's why I have 12 boxes. It's also a really good summary page to go and see. And it helps me make sure that all my themes are quite cohesive and it's not just a very ad hoc month to month. I really just wanted to bring the bullet journal together and just make it really feel like one. Then on the other side, I have my resolutions, which I actually really thought about this time. I made sure not to actually include anything around videos or blog posts or anything because all my previous years, I would always have a certain number of blog posts and videos I wanted to hit. And I was never successful with that. And so I'm really trying to find different ways to be successful but not put the pressure on. And I also filmed a video on review and resolutions for 2019 and 2020, which I will link down below. I uploaded it onto my main channel where I go into a little bit more depth into it, but just to call them out here. I really want to read 24 books this year, so that's 2 a month. I would like to finally do a video in Japanese. I've had this resolution for like 3 years now. It is still not happening, but hopefully this year, maybe I'll do it on this channel. I was thinking of potentially filming a plan of me in the future and try to do it in very basic Japanese. I want to make sure I sit for my N4 JLPT exam this year. It's been about 1.5 years since I did the N5, so I feel like I don't really have a good excuse not to do the N4 this year, except I just need to study a lot more. I want to save a lot more money. I've become obsessed with trying to obtain financial independence. So finding lifestyle creep and eliminating it is going to be a super important thing for me this year. One of the things I'd love to do this year is complete 2 major cosplay projects. I haven't cosplayed in a very long time, so I'm quite nervous about my skill and how much it's deteriorated. But I have so much fun being creative. I feel like when I get to come home and be creative and create content projects, I am living my best life. So cosplay is a big part of that. I'd love to get to a point at the end of the year where I can watch some of my favorite anime series without any subtitles. Right now, I still do require subtitles. I do understand some of it, but it's not the same as watching an English TV show. And I know that by the end of the year, I'm not going to be super fluent. But I think if I at least have a goal or something to aim for, that's going to keep me motivated to study more consistently. And the last one is just to obtain some certification around Agile. This one I'm still a little bit iffy on because I already do have most of the certification I can get. There's still plenty more, but I don't really know how much value that's going to add to my career. Over on the next page, I wanted to create a gratitude page. I have had a lot of anxiety issues in 2019 about my future, work, all sorts of stuff. But I think a big part of being happy is just acknowledging what I should be grateful for. It is so easy for me to kind of ignore the fact that I have truly an amazing life, truly amazing people in my life, and I need to be more grateful for the things I already have. And then on the page opposite that, I'm going to write down the books that I read as I read them throughout 2020. I did this last year, however, I didn't quite hit my target goal of 18. I think I read 10 books in the end. So my bookshelf is looking a little bit bare. Hopefully this year I can fill it out. And I decided to go with floating shelves instead of the standard bookshelf. No real reason, just wanted to change it up a little bit so it wasn't the same every single year. Okay, so after that, my next 2 pages are going to be focused all around my Etsy sticker shop. I feel like in 2019, I did not dedicate enough time and attention to my sticker shop, even though it's something that I really love to do. So 2020 is going to be the year where I am going to be laser focused and I'm going to make sure I try and get releases done more often. So I want to have a page where I can add in all my ideas. And I also want to start tracking my sales because I know that when I open my bullet journal and if it's a day that I can't write anything because I didn't make a sale, then that's just going to help motivate me and push me harder. So over the next page, I wanted to record every single YouTube video I upload onto the internet for 2020. I did this for 2019. It's really just my way of being able to look at it and feel kind of good that I'm doing so much work. So this is across every single channel I have. It's really satisfying, honestly, when I look back on 2019 and I look back on the list. Sometimes I feel like, oh, I'm just not doing enough. I'm not uploading enough. But when I look at that list, it makes me really happy. And then on the flip side of that, I want to also keep tracking things that I do on Instagram and YouTube. I was a little bit iffy about the Instagram one just because I know that that particular social media platform is a little bit more dicey recently. But I do want to make sure that I stay semi-consistent and I'm still figuring out ways to do that. Just because my time is so limited, I have to find ways to automate it more. So I'm looking at different platforms that will help me automate Instagram. But YouTube is always going to be something that is like my ride or die. I love it. I've been on it for a very long time. So I want to make sure I stay consistent. And these pages are more like tracking my activity on Instagram and YouTube, making sure I stay consistent, that I keep uploading content and stay focused. And that is pretty much it for my 2020 bullet journal setup video. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm really glad I got this video out finally. I also just finished filming my bullet journal video for January, so that's probably going to be the video you see next in the next couple days. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully 2020 is going to be a bigger and better year for all of us. So this is Celina reporting from my room. Back to you, internet.